Hello and welcome to the Korean Beauty Show podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Lee, the founder of Style Story, where you can shop, learn and explore the world of Korean skincare, and the founder of Korean beauty brand Jelly Co. Welcome back for another week, and we are getting closer to the end of the year, which means there is a lot going on. Just to sort of let you know a little bit more about what we are going to do to wrap up this year. For the next couple of weeks, I have some episodes planned where we're going to look ahead to the trends for 2024 and see what has been trending for the past couple of years and where I think that will probably all end up next year, and even looking ahead into 2025, because one of the things that I have noticed a little more since the pandemic is that things are starting to, the cycles for trends are getting a little bit longer than I think they used to be in the past, particularly with things like ingredients. I remember sort of 10 years ago, it seemed like we were almost cycling through new ingredients every 6 months, every year. I don't know if that's just my perception has shifted or it actually is, but I just feel like a lot of new things used to constantly come onto the market and then they just died away really quickly and were never heard of again. Whereas I feel like these days, things are getting slightly longer in their cycles, so I want to go through that a little bit more. I also think we're seeing more of a matchup between what's trending in K-beauty and what's trending globally, and I'm going to go into some of the reasons why I think that is as well. So I want to do all of that, take a look back at the year as we sort of get closer to the end of the year, as well as touch on some of my favorite gifting ideas and things like that. So for this week's episode, I wanted to do a roundup of what is leading the headlines in Korean beauty. And the first thing that I thought might be good to cover, because we haven't really done this in a while, is take a look at the growth of the publicly listed Korean cosmetic companies. So in the third quarter, growth has been slightly up, 0.9%. So the performance overall, looking at the category as a whole, and we're just looking at companies that are publicly listed domestically here in Korea. So the big thing that has been weighing on everyone's minds for the last couple of years has, of course, been the China problem. So China has been delayed in its recovery of consumption post the pandemic, and because of how many companies' performances are tied to their Chinese sales, that has a direct impact then on their profitability. So a lot more companies are looking for emerging markets and diversification opportunities in regions such as the US and Japan, and that is believed to be why the performance has improved overall. So there were operating profit rises of about 11.1% and net profit rises of about 8.7%. And this is based on data which was disclosed to the Financial Supervisory Service in their electronic disclosure system. So look, which companies turned a profit? There were a range of different ones. Some names that you might be familiar with include Koreana, Cosmax BTI, Tony Moly, Yeonu, Hanguk Hwajangpum, which in English is just referred to as Korea Cosmetics. There were 32 companies in total that saw their operating profits increase. So there you go. That was sort of a roundup of what has been happening domestically. And we've spoken about, you know, the fact that so many companies are shifting their focus. We've spoken at length about the rebranding exercises that quite a few of the bigger Korean beauty companies have been doing in an attempt to do that. And the other news that I've been seeing is that Korean cosmetics are gaining increasing popularity in Japan as well. They're now widely available even in convenience stores. So one of Roman's subsidiary brands was the first Korean beauty company, I believe, to actually enter into Japanese convenience stores. And there are, of course, plenty available around the more touristy areas. I saw that earlier in the year in Dongkyori, which is a really fun store actually in Japan. Anyone that's been there, I'm sure you would have walked into one of these. It's a really crazy concept where there's just like so much stuff. It seems like it's almost falling off the shelf. And they do everything, not just cosmetics. They do like snacks and teas and trinkets and all kinds of good things. It's like almost a more overloaded version of Daiso, I would say. Korea had an attempt a few years back now to replicate the Don Quixote concept, and it didn't go very well. So they pulled out and shut them all down, but it was really fun while it lasted. But they do a whole range of different Korean beauty brands as well in there. So I think on the whole, companies are just looking for ways to do something a little bit different from the rest of the flock, whether that be go to a market where not everyone can get in, change their branding, even things like some of the hanbang brands are wanting to change up their fragrances because a lot of people, Westerners in particular, find the traditional hanbang fragrancing a little bit too overpowering. So they're trying to just make it all a bit more palatable to a Western market, to a foreign market that's not as familiar with those kind of scents. So the other thing that I've just been seeing again and again in the headlines in Korea and overseas is all of the Korean beauty products to add to your cart this Black Friday. So there are plenty of places that are doing Black Friday sales. Style Story is, of course, one of those. We are offering up to 80% off select products, and as of we do in previous years, as we have done, we are throwing in some extra discounts for our newsletter subscribers. So if you are on our newsletter list, go and check your inbox. If you haven't seen it already, there's a few additional codes in there for you. So our key offerings are that we are doing up to 80%, and we are also offering a free mini K-Beauty travel set for anyone that spends over $100 Australian dollars. So that's a lot less US. I feel like it's about maybe 60, probably under that. The exchange rate is so bad at the moment between Australia and the US. So go and check that out if you haven't already. We've got heaps of deals. Even if you're not on the newsletter list, you will still find plenty of different things. It's just that we always give the best offers to people that are on the list. So there are even more goodies in there for you, little Easter egg treats to go and find in your inboxes. So some of my recommendations for ones that I would pick up are the iUnique Black Snail Restore Serum. That is, I believe, 11 Australian dollars, an absolute steal. If you are a fan of snail products in particular, I think that this is a nice serum. I don't personally use it in my routine just because I've had issues with some snail products in the past, but this is quite a nice texture, and as with many other iUnique products, it's just a nice basic formula. So a steal at $11. Go and pick that up if you haven't tried it already, just to see how you prefer it to maybe some of the other snail products in your routine. If you're using maybe a Benton or a CosRx or one of the other really popular snail products, you might like to try this and just see which one you prefer. The other ones that we have heavily discounted at the moment are the Skin 79 BB creams, and these are, of course, my personal favorites. I always have one in my routine, no matter how many other BB cushions or creams I am testing out. I've always got my trusty Skin 79 pink BB cream on the go, and we are offering big discounts for those. We are also offering a heavy discount on our Tosoong products. The Bakuchiol serum in particular is heavily discounted, and that one is a very nice product, and I have safety tested it on sensitive skin for my own skin, and I didn't experience any adverse reactions. So if you are looking for an alternative to retinol, if you just have really sensitive reactive skin, that one I can recommend. My skin is basically everything prone, rosacea prone, acne prone, eczema prone, pretty much anything that you could throw at it, I'll get it. And this one I was very interested to note did not have any adverse reactions. So that one I can recommend if you're after a gentle product. The other one that everyone is absolutely swooping up at the moment, I've noticed the past couple of days, is the Subi Bare Skin Balm. That one is heavily discounted. Heaps of people are coming through and just grabbing like 3 at a time. So getting quick, that one might sell out based on how it's been going the last few days. The other one that I think is just a really fun one is the I Do Care Glow Key Eye Cream, and it comes with a really fun little applicator tool that sort of massages it into your under eyes. It's got like a fruit punch scent as well. It's got a nice formula for people that are moving into summer. So if you are in the Southern Hemisphere moving into summer, this might be a nice one to add into your routine, and it's heavily discounted at the moment as well. So all of those are available on the Style Story website, stylestory.com.au. And don't forget, if you can get your card over $100, we'll throw in one of our mini skincare travel sets. And it's basically got at least 2 mini skincare products in it, and some sachet samples, plus a reusable Style Story travel kit that is very handy for taking on the plane with you. If you're traveling anywhere and you just want to pop a couple of tiny little, pots or jars or sample sizes in your in-flight bag, that is the one that you can just keep reusing. It's clear as well, so you can get through the TSA restrictions if they have any. Okay, so now on to this week's question of the week. And one of our listeners wrote in and she said, I've got a crop of Milia on my neck that won't budge no matter what I do. What do you suggest? So Milia, a lot of people will probably be familiar with them from like around their eyes. That seems to be a really common place for people to get Milia, and it's often caused by an eye cream that's a little bit too rich for your skin. But Milia essentially happen when dead skin cells don't get sloughed away. So they get caught under the new skin, they harden and form what is called a milium. So 1 milia is a milium, and then multiple are called milia. So 1 milium, 2 milia. They're basically just little keratin plugs, and they can be a real bugger to budge. You'll probably know that if you've ever had them. You can pick at them all you like. You can throw tools at them and they will not come out. And that's because they are underneath that new skin. So if you do have this, retinol can help to break down the keratin plugs. What I would suggest is getting a cream and just applying a really thin layer over the affected area. If you start getting sensitivity or irritation, just pare it back and skip it for a night, but that will actually help to just slough away those dead skin cells. And then, going forward, obviously, if it was an eye cream, if you can pinpoint what the cause was, then, just avoid that product, obviously. That can be harder said than done, particularly on your neck. It's not as common to get them there. They do tend to crop up more on the face, but that is the best way that I have personally found to get rid of them. But I know from firsthand experience that those are honestly, they're really annoying. So hopefully that works. You'll have to let me know how you go. Alrighty. Now, we have had some new Korean beauty product reviews left for us on the Style Story website. And the first one was actually from one of our listeners, and she left her review for APLB's Glutathione Ampoule Serum. And she said, after listening to the Korean Beauty Show podcast, I know I had to add a glutathione product to my regimen, and APLB did not disappoint. I love the way my skin looks and feels after using this product. Thank you, Lauren. Oh, don't thank me. Thank APLB. But I'm really glad you enjoyed it. That one is, I love APLB. I just love them. I love their formulas. I think they do a great job with all of their products. Now, the second review was actually for Dr. Jart's Cica Pear Color Correcting Cream, but I've noticed that our reviewer, so she wasn't reviewing the product as such. What she said was, great experience, 5 stars. Australia Post lost my parcel and wouldn't help, but Style Story resent my order out for me. Lots of help. So I'm glad that you finally got your product. And look, it does happen, particularly at this time of year, that post can get a little bit slow. Some of the carriers can get a little bit sloppy because they're overworked. If you do run into any troubles, obviously, please do just reach out to our team. We'll be happy to help you out, but I'm glad that one got resolved. The third review we had was for Jellicoe's Cinnamon Toast Sugar Scrub Foam, and our reviewer gave it 5 stars, and she said, cleanses without stripping skin. Leaves my skin feeling cleansed, but not tight or stripped at all, and smells delicious. Thank you very much for sharing your review as well. Now, for this week's recommendation of the week, What I thought I would share is, look, I've been in a few different climates and a few different time zones and temperatures and whatnot lately. And one thing that I have noticed is that the weather is starting to change. Whether you are moving from, hot to cold or cool to warm, a lot of people are noticing that the weather fluctuations have started. And if that is the case where you are, as I know it will be for a lot of people, now is a good time to consider swapping up your skincare wardrobe, particularly when we have these really big fluctuations in daily temperatures, as we often do as we're changing seasons. Your skin will really start to notice the impact, and it can start drying out as well, even if you are moving into that hotter weather, just as everything is readjusting. So don't ignore the skin on your body. A bit of lotion never goes astray. I know it can be really tempting when you get out of the shower in winter and it's so cold outside. You're just like, I just want to get dressed really quickly. But try and apply a lotion if you can. That will just help prevent your skin really, really drying out. And you may find that this is a good time of the year to add in a few extra layers. You might need to pop a mask into your routine a few extra nights a week. I am doing both of those things. I am layering up my serums at the moment. I'm actually averaging 2 to 3 different serums a night at the moment, just because I'm really struggling to get that moisture in. And I'm also adding a sleeping mask. I use our Jellicoe one a couple of times a week, and I'm also doing sheet masks as well, just because I'm finding that my skin just really does need that extra hydration. So just take a look at your routine. If you are moving into summer, then you're going to want to make sure that you have your SPF locked down. Make sure that you've got some options for reapplication if you need as well at this time of the year. We're kind of having the opposite problem in the northern hemisphere, which is that UV does tend to be a little bit lower, but it's keeping the hydration in the skin. So wherever you are, if you are noticing that your skin is just not playing ball, if it's looking a bit dull, lackluster, if it's suddenly experiencing, different symptoms than it normally does, that could be why. So just try and listen to your skin, take account of what it needs. If you need to go lighter or heavier on your skincare textures, moving into your gels for summer and maybe your oilier, creamier products for winter, just take a look at that. This is the time of the year to do that. All right, I'm going to finish it up here for this week. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, I would love it if you could leave a couple of stars. 5, we love 5-star ratings. If you do have time, it would be great if you can, leave a few comments as well. But I get that people are busy, don't always have time for that. Even just a 5-star review would be amazing. All right, I will be back in your ears next week. And until then, I will see you on Style Story.